everyone.
Oh, that's better. Okay. Hi everyone, we're outside Manchester Court today, campaigning for justice for all the children and the babies that have been unlawfully stolen from loving families. We want to make the public aware that this disgusting atrocity is happening in this country and it shouldn't be happening. There are many mothers and fathers here today that have suffered the theft of their offspring by draconian social workers and draconian judges that are making decisions that are affecting the lives of the innocent. And I don't think they're fully aware of the trauma that they are putting on those babies and children for the rest of their life by stealing them away from their loving families. It is totally against God and it is totally barbaric. Our offspring are a God-given gift for us to bring up, and the authorities do not have the right to steal them away from their loving caregivers and their loving mums and dads. It's an absolute barbaric practice. So we've all come here today to campaign for justice, because justice is what we want, and we're not getting justice in this country right now. There is a silence about what is happening and what is going on, and it's being covered up. And we're not going to stay silent against this evil. So we urge anyone else that's going through this to come forward and come together. You are not alone. And everyone that is participating in this evil practice, who thinks it's okay to steal the offspring from a loving mother or a loving father, there is something seriously wrong with you, and you are committing an unlawful, barbaric crime that will not go unpunished. You might think you're getting away with what you're doing, but you are not going to get away with it, especially in the eyes of God, who sees all. So we'd just like to bring attention today that this practice is going on. And we're not going to be silenced, because the innocent need a voice to stand up for them, and that is what we are meant to do, is stand up and defend the innocent. The innocent do not have a voice. The children and the babies can't stand up for themselves. They can't speak about what they want, and their needs are not being listened to. Their welfare is not being put first. Being deprived of their loving mother or father, who has nurtured them since birth, brutally stealing them away. That is not putting the welfare of those offspring first. And anyone that is participating in these crimes, you clearly have no empathy and no heart. You are monsters and evil to be doing this. And we demand a public inquiry into this. We do not want this to be brushed under the carpet. We need it to be investigated and overturned at the utmost urgency. Because every day that goes on, with these babies and children being deprived of their loving mothers and fathers, they are suffering because of that. And it is causing irreparable pain and damage and trauma. So we ask that anyone else that's going through this, or has been through this, that you come together. And we also ask that you pray for everyone going through this, because there is a lot of power in prayer. And my faith is what's got me through this so far. Because I've had my grandchildren brutally stolen from us for no lawful reason whatsoever. And this is the reason why I've been forced to campaign for justice. Justice is disappeared in this country. It's not happening. And And this should be seriously concerning to all of you out there, because it could be your children or babies next. I've had people say to me that they don't just come into your home and take babies and children for no reason, but I'm telling you, they absolutely do. They make up lies, fabrications, they present false evidence to the judge, they use their own opinions and biases and false assumptions, and they then make a life-changing decision for those babies and children based on no evidence whatsoever. So you might ask yourself, how is this being allowed to happen, and why is it now affecting so many families? It's not a coincidence. It's more than a couple now. There are literally thousands and thousands of mums and dads who are having their babies and children stolen unlawfully. And the damage this is going to do to the next generation is going to be horrific. And this is why we're campaigning today for justice. We want the public to know and be aware, because you could have children or babies that could be at risk next. And I'd also like to point out as well,
wow, my child picture here as well,
that if you escape an abuser, social services will most likely take your child and baby and give them to that abuser. Because they are not keeping babies and children with loving families, they are doing the opposite. And I've seen multiple evidence of this happening. And this should be highly disturbing to you, because where is the protection for those escaping domestic abuse? Those mothers and children and babies should be highly protected. And also mothers that choose to have different health preferences for their children. If you choose to bring up your children the healthy, natural way, you should not be discriminated against either, because this is also a common trait that I'm hearing about, is that because mothers or fathers are choosing maybe not to vaccinate their children, or they want to bring them up the healthy way, they are actually being prejudiced against and having those children removed. When you have the choice and the right to choose what's best for your child and baby, especially if you know that there are side effects that can cause horrific problems that are not being talked about. So I just want to thank you all for your support and for your ongoing love and your ongoing prayers, especially with my family and other families too, because I'm not the only one that's going through this. There are many others that are suffering irreversible pain and damage. Millions.
Too many.
And this is too much, too many that it's happened to for it to be ignored. We need it to be looked into as the utmost urgency. We need a grand jury. A grand jury, not a private court proceeding where all these atrocities and corruptions are being hidden and covered up. We need the abolishment of the child care proceedings and the abolishment of the social workers that have proven that they are no longer fit to practice. They are not putting the welfare of the children and babies first at all, whatsoever. And I'm yet to still see a good social worker. If there are any out there, they have also been silenced whenever they come forward and try to tell the truth about what's going on.
Yeah.
This is now a massive, serious crime in our country. The stealing of babies and children from their loving families. And we need the public to be aware and demand an urgent inquiry and investigation. It cannot be allowed to continue. Lives are suffering. The innocent is suffering. And we have an obligation to fight for justice. and to fight for our loved ones and fight for the innocent. That is our duty. We will shine the light on this darkness, because everything that's been done in the dark will be brought to the light. That is a promise, not just by me, but by the Almighty, Creator of all, who promises that all these evil deeds done in the dark will be brought into the light. Nobody is going to steal a child or baby and get away with it. It is the most horrific, barbaric crime that you could do to another man or woman. And the devastating damage to the babies and children, there are no words to describe. Not to mention the confusion that is also caused to them too, because they do not understand why they've been taken away. So we ask now that you please all come together and support us and stand together and pray. Okay, so I'd just like to thank you all today. We are outside Manchester Court if anyone wants to join us in support. We are campaigning for justice for the stolen, unlawfully stolen children and babies. Thank you everyone. Really appreciate your support, and please continue to pray. There is much power in prayer, and God sees all. And He is going to deal with all these criminals that are stealing babies and children. Thank you.
Yeah, a bit tired. What about a drink or something? Somebody will go and get some drinks.
That's alright. I've got a herb tea actually. Am I still recording? Oh yes, I am.